Hi everybody, how's it going? I hope this finds you well, and I just wanted to check in today to see how the sugar-free challenge went for you. Comment below if you participated and let me know how it went, if you were able to complete the 3 days successfully, and how your cravings were treating you. I had a really hard time, and I tend to have a hard time with these, even with just the 3-day sugar-free challenge, even though I always tell myself that I don't consume a lot of sugar, but these 3-day challenges always prove me wrong. I have a very, very hard time because I have cravings all the time. So I always want to reach for the bread and I want the chocolate, and that's kind of the two things that I always crave. It's the dark chocolate and bread. So yeah, even this time it was difficult. So yeah, no shame in admitting to that. If you haven't yet downloaded your copy of the 72-hour sugar-free challenge, I highly recommend that you do, even if it is just to receive the information. I talk a lot about sugar substitutes, or like best to worst sugar alternatives, how to use them day to day, and even like tips on how to avoid cravings. There's even some recipes that are included in the ebook, and it's all free. I'll be sharing the link with you just below the video right after I'm done, so you can go ahead and download it as well. Now, you might say that you don't eat sugar. So I actually have a lot of clients that come to me that say that they don't eat sugar. But when we look at the things that they do eat, we find out that they eat a lot of bread and refined flours or white flour. So did you know that once you actually eat this flour, so anything that, once you eat it, it metabolizes in the same way that sugar does, and it has the same effects on your body as sugar would. That's a thing that a lot of people don't realize. They think because it doesn't taste sweet that it is completely different, but once it goes into your mouth, it really chemically it is exactly the same as sugar. So if you are somebody that craves bread or savory simple carbs over sugar, this challenge and even the information that I want to share with you today is really, really useful for you, and I highly recommend that you go get it, and even that you listen to the 4 tips that I'm going to share with you today. So yeah, that's what this video is all about today. I want to share 4 tips with you on how to best eliminate sugar cravings for good. Okay, and it's not about willpower. You have to be strategic about this because sugar cravings are really strong, and sugar does tend to kind of take over and be stronger than our willpower. Now, how do you know if these 4 tips are right for you, or that you even have sugar cravings, or that you even eat too much sugar? Well, there's 5 ways for you to know. If you crave, the first one is if you crave sugar a lot, it means that you consume too much sugar, because sugar tends to create addictive behavior. If you find that you need more sugar all the time to satisfy your needs, that's another sign that you are consuming too much sugar. That was definitely the case for me. You start with half a chocolate bar and then it increases to 1, and then before you know it, you're eating 3 in order to satisfy your cravings. The third way, or the third sign, is that you've gained a lot of weight and you don't really know where it's coming from. So sugar tends to be really sneaky, and it sneaks calories into our diet that we tend to not remember or want to remember. Also, a very strong sign are mood swings. So mood swings are actually more related to our food than they are to our actual mood. So this is something that a lot of people don't realize. If you tend to experience really drastic mood swings, or if this is what people are telling you, that you're a little bit moody, or you get a little bit grumpy in the afternoon, or even in the morning when you wake up, that tends to be very closely linked to your blood sugar, which again is linked to your need for more sugar or more simple carbohydrates. So if that's something that you're suffering from, then definitely look at this. The fifth sign that you're eating too much sugar is that you run out of energy often. And this is a lot of times we experience the lull in the afternoon, and you kind of think that you need your coffee or your next hit of sugar or simple carbs to get you going. So it's actually an overconsumption of these things that is leading you to experience those energy lulls. Okay, so if any of these 5 signs apply to you, then stay tuned, because I'm going to be sharing the tips on how you can best eliminate sugar cravings so that you can also eliminate these signs and symptoms. So one more thing that I wanted to mention is that I'm going to be the first to admit that I had a really, really hard time staying away from sugar, and I was super addicted to it. I experienced all of these 5 symptoms. I used to be really, really moody. And I actually never realized also that it was connected to the food that I was eating. But what for me, what was most frustrating about this whole experience, it wasn't the weight gain, and that's where a lot of people get frustrated, is that they put on so much weight just from over consuming sugar. My real frustration, even though I did put on a lot of weight, my real point of frustration and what made me actually want to change more than anything else was the lack of control that I was experiencing when I was going through this phase of sugar addiction. It's because I was not able to say I'm going to stop eating it. If my body was craving it, those cravings were so strong that by willpower alone, I was not able to stay away from sweets. So yeah, sugar controlled me, and it drove me crazy as I was not able to function properly without getting my next hit. And as I mentioned before, is that the amount of sugar that I needed to satisfy my cravings kept increasing all the time. And that just made me feel really gross and disgusting, because I knew that the food that I was eating was horrible for me. And I knew that it was contributing to me feeling so horrible, and it was contributing to increased cravings. But at that moment, I just didn't know what else to do other than give in and just eat more of it. So if you feel anything like this, I really, really hope that these tips will help you out, because I know how frustrating it can be. The good news is that it can actually be really easy to get out of it if you follow these tips, and not just once or twice, but if you really make a lifestyle out of it, or do them continuously until you feel you've gained back the control that you have lost. So my tip number 1 is to eat breakfast within 1 hour after waking up. So this is a lot of times sugar addiction comes connected to weight gain, and the first thing that we do to try to reduce our weight is cut calories, and a lot of times that looks, we just skip meals. Breakfast is the worst meal that you can skip, because it'll actually increase your cravings in the afternoon, because your blood sugar is just going to be going up and down all day, and once your blood sugar is down, the only thing that you will want is simple carbohydrates. Okay, so make sure that you eat a balanced breakfast 1 hour after waking up to stabilize your blood sugar and keep those cravings under control for the rest of the day. All right, now my second tip is that you eat every 3 to 4 hours. That's another thing that's gonna help control your blood sugar, stabilize it, because you need stable blood sugar in order to eliminate your cravings. Okay, tip number 3, never eat carbs alone. Okay, always combine carbs with protein and fat in order to, again, stabilize your blood sugar. So that's kind of what we're always aiming for. You want to have stable blood sugar. If you eat carbohydrates, your blood sugar is going to skyrocket, and then it's going to drop really quickly. And that is, again, once it drops, the only thing that you will want to eat is sugar, or be it bread. But that's the one thing that you're going to want in that moment. Okay. I see some of you have joined. Hi, I can't see your messages right now if you're writing me, but I will get to those later. So yeah, that was tip number 3, is never eat carbs alone. Always combine them with protein and with fats. Tip number 4 is eat at least 25 to 35 grams of fiber every day. Fiber is really, really important, not just for proper digestion, but fiber is so important to keep our blood sugar stable, okay? So eating at least 25 to 35 grams of fiber sounds easy, isn't always that great. I actually talked to my private client group today about fiber and how difficult it can actually be, because we always think that kind of, by eating vegetables or by eating a salad that we're going to get or cover our daily requirement for fiber. But in half a cup of lettuce, we actually have less than a gram of fiber in there, okay? So it's not just about eating lettuce. Again, weight loss and blood sugar balance is about so much more. There's legumes, like always just look at the foods that you eat on a regular basis and check on their fiber content. And don't just add foods that have a lot of fiber in them. What you can do is look at the foods that you're currently eating and are those the best foods for you to consume? Are you eating white rice? Or can you switch to brown rice, which has more fiber? So it's kind of just looking at better alternatives within the foods that you are currently consuming, okay? That's gonna make it a lot easier for you, and sticking to whole foods in general. So stay away from refined products because they have zero fiber and very, very few nutrients as well. All right. So summarizing again, tip number 1 is eat breakfast 1 hour after waking up. Tip number 2 is eat every 3 to 4 hours to help stabilize that blood sugar. Tip number 3 is never eat carbs alone. Always combine them with protein and fat. And tip number 4 is eat at least 25 to 35 grams of fiber every day. So try to make it at least 5 grams of fiber per meal. Okay, if you have any questions, please just share them below. And as I mentioned, I'm also going to share the link to my free 3-day sugar-free challenge with you below. All right, have an awesome day.